For the last lesson, we looked at just general percent problems. We are going to now be looking at percent word problems. So we're still using that same setup. We've got the is over of equals the percent over 100 because is goes with the part, of goes with the whole. And let's go ahead and just solve some of these problems. So at Hogwarts, 270 students ride their broom to school. If this number is 72% of the entire school, then how many students go to Hogwarts? So we're going to set up our blank proportion here. Always out of 100. Just like the other problems, first thing I'm going to look for is the percent. So we have 72%. Now, I'm remembering that the bottom is my whole or my total. And if I look at this problem, the other part that we're talking about is the students that ride their broom. So I'm going to label the top broom. Then we're going to go back. This 270, was that talking about the broom or the total? Well, it says 200 students ride their broom to school. So that is the part, which means we're solving for the whole. And that makes sense because it says how many students go to Hogwarts. We're solving for that whole value. So we're going to multiply those two numbers that are in the same diagonal here. So I'm multiplying 270 times 100 is 27,000. And then I'm dividing by 72. So 27,000 divided by 72, if I plug that in, I get 375. What were we solving for? Total students. All right, number 2. Carla got 30 questions correct out of a total 35. What percent did she get correct? So still setting up my blank proportion. Always out of 100. Looking for my percent. I don't see a percent sign. I see the word percent. It says what percent. That means it's our unknown. So I don't know the percentage. Then we got to think about, what are we comparing here? Well, we have our total. And then specifically, we want to know how many she got correct. So 30 questions correct, that's the part, versus a total of 35. That is our total. And now we can solve. 30 times 100 is equal to 3,000. And then we're going to divide by 35 to get, and we're going to get a decimal, like 85.71, so on. It says to round to the nearest tenth, so that's going to be 85.7, and we're talking about percents, so percent. Flip over to the back. Number 5, in the U.S., there are a total of 435 Congress members in the House of Representatives. Colorado represents 1.61% of this total. How many House of Representative members are from Colorado? And then it says round to the nearest whole number. So, setting up my blank proportion, always out of 100. Next thing I'm looking for is my percent. I see my percent right here, 1.61. Now we got to think about, what are we comparing? Well, we're comparing the total House reps, and the part is Colorado, because they're not all of the representatives, they're just some of them. So we got to look at this number that's given to us, 435. It says there are a total of 435 Congress members. So that's the total for the entire U.S. We don't know the Colorado portion. That's what we're solving for. So we can go ahead and solve. We're going to multiply 435 times 1.61, which gives us 700.35. We're going to divide that by 100, and we get 7.0035. Rounded to the nearest whole is going to be 7 representatives. for Colorado. All right, number 4, Danielle now earns $9.50 per hour. This is 125% of what she earned last year. What did she earn per hour last year? So setting up our blank proportion out of 100. Look for the percent right away. We have 125%. That goes on top of the 100. Now we got to figure out the other part. So this is what she earns today or now, and then versus last year. So we got to think about the 100% is actually talking about last year. Versus today is the part because we're comparing it to last year. We're comparing it to the original. So this $9.50 is what she earns now. That is equivalent to 125%. We want to go backwards and solve what last year's was, the original amount. So I'm going to multiply these two diagonals. 950 times 100 is equal to 950. Divide by 125. And we get 7.6. We're talking about money though, so we should have 2 decimal places. So I'm going to add a 0. $7.60 was her previous salary or hourly salary rate. All right, last one. In a survey taken by 450 people in the Department of Agriculture, 74% admitted they hated Brussels sprouts. How many people in the survey hated Brussels sprouts? So setting up our blank proportion out of 100. Next step, look for that percent. I see it right here, 74%. And then we're looking at what we're comparing. So our total is talking about the whole department. So the total department versus what we're talking about specifically in this problem is those that hated Brussels sprouts. So I'm just going to say hated Brussels. This 450, a survey taken by 450 people in the department, that is talking about the total department. We want to know who hated the Brussels sprouts. That's what the question is asking. So let's go ahead and solve. Highlight the diagonal right here. 450 times 74 is equal to 33,300. Divide that by 100, and we get 333 people, or you could say people hated Brussels sprouts. And that's it.